So I want to talk about something on the ground level. Like I like to look at things both ways, right? On the etheric and on the ground level. And really it's about integrating those. So this one's kind of like a ground level topic. This is about lifestyle design. Like on a way that you have oops. I'm going to turn this off.
Goodbye.
On a way that you can participate. So like a lot of your life is going to happen outside of your control, the majority of it, right? But there is a little bit of a part of you that can intend it and direct it. And the question is, what do you really want, right? The fundamental basic principle of lifestyle design is, what do you want? And then what do you want comes from, I mean, fundamentally it comes from what are you, right? Because that's gonna basically define what you want to experience. So, most people don't ask themselves that question, right? They just kind of go on some kind of more cultural norm, right? Or some programming from society. And we all kind of do that until we realize that those things don't actually fulfill us. And our body will tell us, right? The body settles the score. We'll feel it because we're out of alignment with things. And and then tension and kind of things happen in a physiological level, right? We interpret life mostly from a physiological level, like from our cellular network. Of course, our senses as well, but that gets interpreted again through our cells. So those cells will tell us in a lot of ways, are we in alignment, right? How are we doing, right? And it's not a bad thing if we're having those physical reactions. Sometimes it's a good thing. Things are getting worked out and the worms are coming out, right? But so lifestyle design is a very deep topic, right? Because it's going to come from how well you know yourself. The better you do is how well you know yourself. And you're going to really, really, truly design your life when you're fully in union with yourself as basically everything, as reality, right? As a union with everything around you. Because that way you're just designing. Uh, it's creating itself. You're not necessarily being the creator anymore of it. Uh, so on a very ground level, it's good to think about it in a more, yeah, practical day to day way. So, what's going to direct your actions and what's going to motivate you? Because it is about a kind of drive that comes in you that is inspired and starts to have visions and starts to work towards completing those visions. Now, we all do this, right? We all manifest all the time. We're in constant manifestation. But how we manifest depends on basically how it's a fine line of fully allowing and at the same time participating and not getting caught up in the contractions and the resistance and allowing openness in and doing things that feel on the edge of your comfortability and seeing supposed failures as experiences that you're grateful for and to uh, they're not negative, they're just transformational segments in your life, and trusting all that process, right? And doing what you can every day to have moments of stillness and quiet to yourself so the clarity and the vision can come in. And the vision's going to change all the time, and it's going to constantly evolve as you evolve, understanding more and more what you are. So, like, what do you value? You can ask yourself simple questions. What do you value? Like, like for me, I value freedom, right? That's probably my my uh, primary value. And that's a, but then freedom means a lot of things. I don't just mean like, I mean, ultimately, I mean internal freedom. Uh, I searched for a lot of external freedoms, and those are still great, like to have, I say, financial freedom or to have good health or these kinds of things. They're very worthy, right, to work towards. But they are all temporary, right? And the only real true freedom is the inner freedom. So that is my biggest value. And then out of that, my authentic truth starts to be more and more discovered by me. And this is basically how everybody, in their own flavor, completely different, looking completely different in every individual. That's the beauty of it. Uh, can pursue if they want to. And to me, that is how lifestyle design, that is how you design your life in a way that is most congruent with your healthy nervous system, right? And your well being, uh, which resonates into everybody around you, right? Like all your relationships and your situations will share this light with you. This light will come with you and it will be shared, and it multiplies itself uh, the more it's shared. So that comes from living true to who you are, what you are, whatever you want to say that. And this is not easy, right? This this requires a lot of unpacking, right? And it will require some letting go of the big things in your life and big changes. But if you can do it with as much kindness and patience and respect to yourself and everybody, and then uh, it's a it's a net positive so dramatically, right? Like there's like it's completely net positive. Every situation as someone unfolds their life, like as someone really real when anybody really realigns their life, there's always some form of like there's some type of collateral damage, you could say. It's not damage because everybody's here on their journey learning, and we learn from everything. But at the same time, you know, we do things sometimes that we might be like, oh, I could have done a lot better in those situations. And that a lot of that is growth. A lot of that is like it's if there's awareness there and there's learning there, then you know, we just do our best to live in integrity. Uh and and then everyone can benefit from it. Whether it feels good for everyone or not is not usually the case, right? Like that's why human relationships, that's why the way the world is, right? We're all unpacking our authentic uh, self and being. And it's for some of us, it's a very slow, very difficult process, right? Some of us move rapidly through that. So we can shrink the amount of, you know, time, which is time is really just how identified are we with uh, all our basically contractions and resistances, right, to experience. We can, the more we can be with those and relax with those and transcend those, then the more out of time we become. And then, so we can, in a sense, make the process more efficient. It can feel that way. There's ways to do that are more effective, right? To generate the energy to pursue this. Uh, but at the same time, it feels like we are the one reaching for our authentic self, and realistically, our authentic is such a limited word, but in this context, our authentic self is actually the one that is reaching for us, right? But we just don't believe ourselves to be that authentic self yet, right? We believe ourselves to be the little person that is very out of alignment, right? And very in contraction and in resistance. Doesn't mean that we don't have great times as well, right? Like some of these subtle resistances can be very, very subtle, and they might not even feel that bad, but like they are little blocks, right? To feeling the full flow of who and what you are. And that is what you want, right? That is true lifestyle design, because then your life will align itself to that automatically. But it will also happen through you and through others that help you along the way. We all help each other along the way. So it really unpacks itself, but it feels like, and it's true on a level that we have to pursue it. But then we realize it was happening to us all along, in a sense. But this is how you create the health that you want, the relationships that you want, the where you live, right? I mean, I am talking about something very basic and fundamental, and just the joy of life, right? The pleasure of life, sleeping well, eating well, whatever it is that your value, right? Whether you're in a relationship or not, or where you live, or what your career is, or how your relationship is with your children, all these things. And this can be decades. This can be a lifetime of work. This is not like, oh, we do this in like a month or something. This is an ever deepening, constant thing. So your life will be designed around you relative to what you believe you are. And then if challenges come up, because you can be very far along and doing very well, and then a huge challenge can come. And this doesn't mean that something's out of alignment necessarily, it just means there's deeper unpacking happening. Because if you're bringing awareness to it, then you're being supported. If you're bringing awareness to your experience, then the universe, the world is supporting you. It doesn't always necessarily feel good, because sometimes we have to let go of these big things. Things have to fall away from us that we're attached to, even though we don't like those things on a deep level. On a surface level, we might like them, and they're very familiar and they're known to us, so we keep doing them. It's just habits. It's just basically bad habits, mental programming habits, emotional storage of things, right? So yes, like, these things can unpack and dissolve through experiences, and like in your life. And when those things get uh, very difficult, sometimes it means things are actually going really well, right? So you might not be feeling good, but things might be going really, really well. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And the lifestyle, the design of your life, it's a funny kind of way of describing what I'm talking about. But the design of your life, which is created by you, but not you as the doer, right? You as the you as the the unspeakable, right? This kind of spirit, you as the spirit is actually designing it, and you as the person is kind of just doing it and playing it out and having fun with it, right? Or struggling with it. So yeah, it's good to sort of look at it from the etheric level, and then look at it from the ground level, and then how do you bring those together? And what does it mean? Or does it mean I'm changing my job? Does it mean I'm keeping at my job? Does it mean I'm uh changing things about my health, or where I live, or my relationships? I mean, these are questions that you want to be patient with and not impulsive with, but feel into them, and uh be true to yourself. And that's hard. That's really hard. So be kind to yourself, because it's difficult, right? When things are just like, when you really feel like, how did I get here? What do I do? Uh, in any situation, big or small, right? And sometimes it's just little tiny course corrections. Okay, I'm just going to do this less, or I'm going to do that more. I'm going to see this person less, or do this more. I'm going to set this boundary, right? I'm going to work towards this. I have these goals. I'm going to build this. I have this vision. And a lot of it is manifesting feeling states, right? Ultimately, you want to manifest, oh, I just want to feel joy, right? It's not necessarily, I want to get this new car because I know that will give me joy temporarily. I want to just manifest joy on a consistent basis, regardless of whether I get a new car or not, right? So not that getting a new car is bad, getting a new car is fine, but it's just, don't be doing it for the reasons of external gratification beyond a healthy way. You don't want a codependent relationship with external influences. So yeah, it's there's nothing else worth doing more, right, than basically understanding what you are. Uh, Yeah, and you can do that in any situation. You don't think that you necessarily have to change something outside of you to pursue this. Well, you definitely don't, right? It's very clear that you do not. However, sometimes you do make changes. Sometimes you just accept what you cannot change, and that is also the lesson. Sometimes the lesson is to change. It's not necessarily a lesson. It's just like what is this situation doing for you on a very deep level, and what can you rise into from it, right? And it could be very subtle, it could be very big, right? And you don't want to be a victim, uh, and you do want to participate, but how do you participate? Sometimes it requires a big change, and sometimes it requires a big letting go and a big allowance. So, that's just the human experience, right? It's a little wacky sometimes. And it's not, no one said it was easy, and no one said it was meant to make you happy all the time. So knowing that, like just thinking, oh, I'm actually here to sort of grow, if you want to use that word, you know, uh, on one level, it is an evolution. It's an evolution of your personhood. On another level, it's just remembering what you are. So, what can be more important than that, right? And it doesn't mean that you can't still pursue whatever you want to pursue. Like there's no ultimate. This is very, 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 very nuanced. There's no ultimate basic rules about it. There's fundamental sort of principles that can be applied generally to a sort of more collective mindset that can be very helpful at certain times. But generally, the only authority here is you, right? And your uh, the deeper you investigate your truth, and your truth meaning not just your little personal judgments, like definitely not that. It's your truth of what is experience for you, what is experience for you, and that that is what basically sends you off, right? And yeah, you figure out what that is for yourself, you know, and 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 then yeah, things take shape as they should. And regardless of what sort of things look like on the outside, of course, it's nice to have good things happening. But regardless of that, you're okay, right? That's the kind of the goal. Is that you're okay regardless. And and then your sort of design of your lifestyle is most likely going to be much more pleasant, uh, and also effective, right? Like effective at uh, serving this reality around you, right? All the people, the places, just bringing more light to the world, right? In whatever form that is that you bring the light to, that the light comes through you. You as a person, you know, etherically, you are the light. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, amazing.